All right, everyone. Welcome to the stream, babies. You're watching Rome Knows Tech, and I'm your host, Rome Wilkerson. Guys, I'm coming from the city of Houston, down here in the ever so hot and humid state of Texas. Man, we got a lot to get to tonight. A lot of cool tech, and maybe even an experiment or two. We shall see. We shall see how the night goes if I don't chicken out before we get to that point. I was telling somebody earlier that I had an experiment that I wanted to try. It's not technically an experiment, it's more of a demo, but because of my limited space, I am a little cautious as to if I'm going to try this. So we shall see. I see Terry's in the house. Welcome, Terry. Welcome to the stream. All right, Terry, let us know what's going on in your world. How's Buddy? How's Bear? How's your mom? Everything's going great. I hope. Also, Terry, let me know. Let me know what you're making for dinner tonight. And I got a question for you. If you got to choose lemon pepper or taco seasoning, lemon pepper, taco seasoning, what would you choose? Okay, let me know. Lemon pepper or taco seasoning. I see Hope is in the house. Welcome, Hope. Welcome to the stream. Hope, it looks like you have lost your icon again. I don't see your photo anymore when you're typing or when you leave a comment. So somehow I think you've gone in perhaps and removed your icon. If you need help replacing that, let us know and we will walk you through as best we can off stream to show you how to replace your icon on your Amazon profile. So let us know if we can help, Hope. All right. Let me see if I got an answer to the seasoning. Terry says taco seasoning. Okay. That seems to be the consistent. I have asked a number of people this today offline, and all of them seem to be coming back with taco seasoning. So, okay. So I was doing some meal prep before the stream, and I was trying to decide what I was going to make for dinner tonight. And it was kind of up in the air. It was up in the air between, once I choose the seasoning, then that kind of dictates what the meal is going to be based on. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying. But anyway, let's go. All right, I'm just catching up with what Hope is saying here. Hope is saying hi to Terry. All right, so in tonight's stream, we will be covering a few items that I think a lot of you might be interested in. Now, I've covered these items on a previous stream. The reason why I'm covering them again is that we have also received a few other accessories that also make this workflow a lot easier. And I know you guys out there who have been thinking about live streaming, creating content. This might be the perfect tools for you without you having to break the bank. You can get high quality video, high quality audio, okay? And be able to control it with 1 or 2 or 3 devices. You probably already have somewhere in your home where you have access through, maybe a family member or, a coworker or, a significant other, whatever the case it may be. Resources, source what you need until you can afford to get it for yourself. Any way you can borrow these things, is going to be a win. But when you're ready to go to that next level, yes, having these things at your disposal 100% of the time is going to be the way. Remember that, the way, babies, the way. All right, so let's go over here to my desktop, robot desktop here, and let me show you guys the first item we have listed in the carousel. And that is that is this iPad that you guys see here. So this same style iPad, this is the iPad 12.9 inch Pro. Now, these first came out, if I'm not mistaken, in 2018. This is a 22 variant of the same. There's a 21 variant of it. but they're all basically the same dimensions, which is going to be 12.9 inches. This one here actually has 512 gigabytes of internal storage. It has Wi-Fi. It also has cellular. So that means you can actually connect to your network and, get a SIM card and install a SIM card in this guy, and you'll be able to use this wirelessly without having access to your home Wi-Fi. You can still use this out in the world, in the real world. Okay, really nice design, beautiful screen, very vibrant. When I watch content on this, YouTube, Amazon Prime, other people's live streams, this is one of the devices I use to to watch a lot of content. I see Rover's in the house. Welcome, Rover. Welcome to the stream. Now, I have started using this as a part of my daily workflow. Yes, if you have an Apple Pencil, that's going to make so much of this stuff. Ooh, man, it's going to take it to a whole nother level. Just having that Apple Pencil, being able to quickly swipe through the different, apps or whatever the case it is that you want to work with. That is another plus. Now, of course, it does not come with the Apple Pencil. You will purchase that separately, but you can get this iPad, guys, a variation of it that I have right here for only $579, $579. And the new iPads, one of the things that I love about them is that they use or now have a USB-C input that you guys see here. Okay. I'm just knocking stuff over. Don't tell Richard. I'm just knocking stuff over already. But anyway, we have a USB-C input here. The older variations of these use the lightning plug. So this makes this very universal for connecting other devices to it, like webcams, microphones, whatever the case is going to be. So a really good starting point. So another cool thing, Roma, is it Romana? Ooh, I'm pronouncing that wrong, but welcome to the community. All right, so the next item that is associated with this, as you guys can see here, is this stand that you see. Now, this is from our friends over at Anchor. Anchor actually sent me this stand, if I'm not mistaken, it was probably 3 years ago, okay? But this is an all aluminum stand, guys. You can adjust the height on this relatively easy. And like I said, I got this 3 years ago, and this guy is still hard to move. So that's a testament to how well the hinge system on this really works. Now, you can route wires through here and all that kind of stuff. But what's really, really cool about this stand, let me take the iPad off here for a second and show you guys some of the cool features of the stand. So again, this is all metal, as you guys can see here. On one side of it, you have a TF card slot. You have a full SD card slot. You have an additional USB here. This is kind of like a OTG. This is going to allow you to connect to the iPad. And right here in the back, we have a full-size HDMI. We have an additional USB-C here. That's going to be power. So that'll provide power to the device, the USB hub, as well as to your iPad. And then on this side, you have two USB-A's and a headphone jack built into this. Like I said, all aluminum. It's got this nice little rubberized pad underneath it and a similar style rubberized pad here for the iPad itself. Now, of course, my iPad does have a case, but if you're one of those people that just run around with your stuff, the way you do, I'm not going to judge you. It will be protected because it has that nice rubberized feel, very tacky, which is a good thing. That way it's going to keep it from sliding around, as you're moving this thing around. Now, it does not lock into place, so you have to be cautious of that when you pick this up, making sure that you are also making sure the iPad is level and it doesn't just tip over. I have had that happen to me a couple of times, but luckily I have this ESR case on here, which has come in really, really handy. I don't have any ESR products in the carousel tonight. If somebody reminds me, I will add some ESR products to our next stream. Now, if you guys have any questions about the iPad, the Anchor stand, how I'm actually using this, and yes, the Apple Pencil magnetically still connects to the top of the iPad, no problem, even with the case on. Okay, so this is a win. Now, how am I using this as a part of my everyday workflow? That's the question, right? That's the $1 million question. Rome, what are you using it for? Well, normally, guys, whenever I create content, so this is my process. I record the video on a different device, okay? And usually I'm on this back desk back here. So I'll have, in the past, I've used my Pocket 3, my DJI Pocket 3. And then when I received the DJI Action 6, that kind of became my primary camera because of some of the features that it had. I really love that. And the fact that, you know, once you're in that DJI ecosystem, you can easily use their microphone, their wireless microphones, pair them up with the cameras. So the way I had everything set up is that I had a little table right here, and I kind of moved it over here just for tonight. But then I would set my camera up so it's facing toward the lights, and then I'd have another camera above whatever the product is looking down. And then I would record those two videos. And then I would bring them into, say, something like Final Cut. And then I would try to pair them up, create a multi-clip. And then that way, while I'm editing, I can switch back and forth between the two different camera angles. And because I have, you know, the DJI microphone connected, I still have really high quality audio. So I'm not reliant on, you know, the audio from this camera. And when I switch to this camera, you're going to hear that audio difference. You know, just like when I lean away from the microphone, you guys can hear how my voice kind of like, you know, tapers off. So it really just depends on where you are facing, the microphone placement. All of those things are going to be variables, right? Okay, so with that little bit of knowledge out of the way, let me show you how I've been using this setup since I got everything else set up. All right, so we have the iPad, as you guys can see here, okay? Now, one of the cool things about iPads, Apple, they have a lot of software that's all integrated throughout their entire ecosystem. One of the new apps that they have that you can subscribe for is going to be Final Cut. You also have some photo editing, different apps that you can use. But Final Cut is the same style app that I use actually on my MacBook whenever I'm editing, right? So as you guys can see, you know, I can go in here and I can set up my different projects. And then once I have everything set up the way I want to, as an example, let's just do a new one. We're going to go new project. And then I can go in here and I can name the project. Let's just call this Amazon Demo. Amazon Demo. All right. So now at this point, I can also decide the format. Okay. So I can let it be automatic based on what comes in first, or I can go in and customize that. And then I can set, you know, the resolution, you know, usually it's going to be 4K. I can set the orientation between landscape and portrait. I can set the color space between HDR and SDR. I usually leave it at SDR because that's basically your Rec 709. If you don't know what that is, I'll explain that later. Then you can also go in here and change your frame rate. So a lot of times I really want the output video to be 24 frames a second or 30 frames a second, depending on where I'm uploading it. But in some cases, you might want it to be 60 frames a second, 120 frames a second. It just really depends on what you're doing, okay? So like for most content you upload to YouTube, to Amazon, to all those different platforms, we're going to say it's most likely 30 frames a second, okay? Then it's going to ask you your storage location. And if you don't have an SSD drive or some type of thumb drive plugged into either the iPad or to the USB hub, then it's going to save everything to the iPad. Okay, so now we can just go continue. Now it's going to give me some options here. Okay, so the options is I can start recording from the camera built into the iPad. I can do a live multicam, which is what we're going to do. I could bring in files from my photo app, or I can bring in files from my files app, or I can just create a blank slate to work with. So let's do that. So we're going to click there and we're going to get slate blank, nothing. There's no projects or anything here. Here's our timeline. Here's our viewer window. And some other controls are along here. New cool feature now is that we have this little playhead where you can kind of, you know, jog back and forth. That's pretty cool. And again, the Apple Pencil makes it super easy, right? So let's say, for instance, I'm going to be creating a project right now. So what I would normally do is I would go up here and I would choose live multicam. Okay. So right now it's asking me where are the video sources going to come from. So one of the video sources is going to be the iPad because I'm going to have the iPad facing toward the desk and using the built-in cameras for that. So I'm going to go ahead and choose the iPad as one. And now you see the iPad video is showing up here in the background. Okay. Then the second camera we're going to use, let me go ahead and highlight it in the carousel, which is going to be this iPhone. So this is the iPhone 16 Pro Max. Again, this is also in an ESR case and one of our new accessories, magnetic mount we have here. We'll come back and talk about this here in a little bit. Okay. But anyway, here is my iPhone. So I also want to use the iPhone as an additional camera. So what I'm going to do is, now you have to already have Final Cut Camera installed on the device that you're going to connect to the iPad. All right. So once you install that, and it is free, and you can actually use Final Cut Camera even if you're not using Final Cut. So we're going to go into Final Cut Camera, and you guys can see there's the app right here. I'm going to click on it, and then it's going to open the camera, but it's still not connected. Okay. So I'm going to go here. Actually, let me change the frame rate. Okay, so frame rate is 30 frames a second, 4K, SDR. That's good. Okay, so now I can go in here and I can choose the iPad. So we have the iPad Pro, 12.9 inch. I can click on that. And now what it's going to do is it's going to connect the phone to the tablet as well. Okay, so now let's close this and we can go back and make sure everything is right as far as our outputs and everything, and I can just go next. Okay, so now I have both video sources coming in. So I have the iPad video. So if I move the iPad around, you guys can kind of see this is the iPad source. So if I can make it larger here and I move it around, you guys can see that's the video coming from the iPad. And then I can go to the iPhone, click on that, and now that is the video coming from the iPad. So, you guys kind of see how that's working. Now, what's cool about this is you can record up to 4 different video sources. So if I have 4 other cameras, let's say I take Louis' iPhone 15 Pro Max, my other iPhone 14 Pro Max, and that will give me a total of 4 camera angles. So I could have one set as a top down, I could have one set as a front facing, I could have one more as a wide angle or something like that. So when you use this, all of these are going to record simultaneously. Okay. So it's not recording to the iPad in the beginning. The only thing that's recording to the iPad is going to be the video coming from the iPad. The other devices are actually going to record to themselves. So the iPhone is going to record internally. But as soon as you hit stop, then it's going to transfer the video over to the iPad. So we're just going to do a little clip just so you guys see what I'm talking about. So I'm looking over there at iLick, and let's position the the iPad where we can see, the other robot back there. So you guys can kind of see that. Let me frame it up a little bit. All right, so now I just go ahead and hit start. So this is going to pick up my voice because the audio is now coming in from the phones themselves. But, we have this little guy over here, and we have iLick on the second camera. And this would be great if you're doing a podcast or something like that where you have multiple people and you want to be able to record them all. This is going to be ideal. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and hit stop. All right, so that's going to stop. Then what's going to happen is that the video from the iPhone is now going to get transferred automatically over to the iPad. So I can just go ahead and click done. And then from there, I can see that the video is starting to transfer. Now I can also click here and I can choose here the video source. Okay. And then all I have to do is come down here to where it says multicam, and multicam is going to give me the ability to switch back and forth between the 2 camera angles. So right now it is probably defaulting to the iPad camera. Okay. So if I hit play on this, and I'm going to stop talking, I'm going to turn up this microphone so you guys can hear what's coming through the iPad. Start. So this is going to pick up my voice because the audio is now coming in from the phones themselves. But, we have this little guy over here, and we have iLick on the second camera. And this would be great if you're doing a podcast or something like that where you have multiple people and you want to be able to record them all. This is going to be ideal. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and hit. Okay, so you guys kind of got the idea, right? So now at this point, I can go back and I can edit each one of these individual frames, or I can switch them back and forth if I want to, right? So let's just say right now, this is on Ebo over here, but now I really wanted this video to be on iLick. All I would have to do is switch to iLick, and now that's going to switch that in my timeline. So now as it goes forward, it's going to be iLick as the main video source. Or if I decide I didn't like that, I can just go back to Ebo, and I can also click on this. I can zoom in really close. You know, if I really wanted to focus, you know, your attention, because we're shooting in 4K, and I could bring this in a little bit closer or something like that. I'm just kind of giving you guys a rundown on how simple this is to create content, okay, using an iPad. So another cool thing that you can do with this, especially if you have the Apple Pencil, is that, say, for instance, you know, we like the idea that, you know, iLick is here, and I could, you know, just make sure I'm on iLick. Then I can come up here and tap on this tool, and this is a drawing tool that allows you to draw in real time live on the video. Okay, so let me choose one of the markers, and let me set this at that thickness. iLick is blue, so let's use a blue color here. It's blue and white, should I say. And then we could just write whatever we want to put on here. We could go AI. I can't spell, I can't write. AI robot. iLick, little arrow. Draw some little eyes on it. Little smiley face. Okay, that's just an example, but you guys get the idea, right? So now if I hit done, now what's going to happen, and I'm going to see if I can make this bigger for you guys to see it. Okay, so now iLick is right there. I'm going to bring this up so I can see it. All right, so now when the video plays, you're going to see what I typed. It's going to animate it, okay? But, you know, we have this little guy over here. So, I mean, that was really quick, but you get the idea. It's just like having your own handwriting, that you can add to a video for, drawing up things or pointing at things or whatever it is. And if you decide you don't like it, it's no big deal. Just click on it and, you know, hit the delete key, and you can just get rid of it. So, and this is completely adjustable. Now, another way that I use the iPad, which is kind of funny, being that it's such a big screen, is that I'll just turn this thing vertical, and then that gives me so much more space to work with, okay? It's not going to change the video output. It's just giving me more landscape to work with. And then you can also go in here and you can, make this a little smaller, or, whatever it is. You still have access to your inspector. You still have access to your volume controls. You still have access to your animation controls, all of those things, your multi-camera, all of them right here at your fingertips, and all being controlled either by finger touch, keyboard, or the Apple Pencil, guys. So, yes, the iPad itself can be a very, very powerful tool. And when you pair that up with other Apple devices that do basically, work within the same ecosystem, it's a win. Just like we're talking about, with this phone here, which is the iPhone 16 Pro Max, the 15 Pro Max. They don't have to be the Pro models, just an iPhone that is compatible. And you can look it up to figure out which ones are going to be compatible. But I've seen people use much, much older iPhones, like an iPhone 12 or iPhone 11, and it still did basically the same thing. So, that's pretty cool. All right, so the iPhone, if you guys are interested in this guy right here, this is the 16 Pro Max. You can get it here on Amazon for $799. The case obviously does not come with it, but it does have this cool little kickstand here that you can pop out. Of course, I can't get it to pop out. There we go. This little kickstand you can pop out right here. And that's going to be, if you want to set this up on a table or something to watch content. This is an ESR MagSafe case, very rugged. So that's going to protect your phone in case of those oopsies. If you drop things like, Richard and a few others are constantly dropping things. Trust me, this case is a worthwhile investment. But I needed to take this to the next level. Okay, so I showed you guys the desk. I showed you guys the desk that's behind me here. Okay, so normally when I am, we talked about it before, setting up the different cameras and everything, I'm using one of the action cameras or I'm using a Pocket 3. Now I'm going to be using iPhones for the most part, right? So I have the iPad sitting on a little table here at the front desk facing toward whatever it is I'm talking about. I have another iPhone that's going to be a top-down view. I may have another iPhone off at the corner or side that's going to be kind of a side profile view or something like that. And they're all recording at the same time, right? Now, where I ran into a problem was finding an efficient way to mount the phones and not have to worry about the weight, because these phones have quite a bit of weight, especially when you add one of these cases to them. All right. So the next accessory we have in the carousel is actually this little guy right here. I just got this in today, and this is a MagSafe pocket tripod. Okay. So I'm going to show you guys some of the cool things we can do with this. All right. So let's switch back over to our robot cam here real quick. So this is what the piece looks like. Now this is going to work on an iPhone, it's going to work on an Android phone, a Google phone, anything that has MagSafe. But even if your device does not have MagSafe, doesn't matter, because it comes with the magnetic rings, so you can still use this the same way. Okay, so you got a really strong magnet here. You have this metal frame. You have, the hinge system, which is really nice. You have a 1/4-20 right here. So if you want to mount this to a tripod or something like that, you have that option. I don't think you wouldn't mount this one to a tripod. I would use this maybe with a magic arm to add like a light or something like that. You also have two other 1/4-20s here that you can use to mount this to, a tripod plate or something. You also have your Arca Swiss built into this. So if you have an Arca Swiss tripod, this will just fit right into the tripod, which is pretty cool. Now, this is a normal stand, so it also has some built-in legs. So check this out. So you can expand these legs like so, and then make this a desktop style stand. And these legs go all the way 180 degrees forward here, which is super cool. All metal, really nice design. Let me set this up on the desk. Let me move the iPad here real quick so you guys can see what this looks like. All right, let's get the iPad out of the way safely. Okay, so this is what the device looks like. Okay, just sitting it here on the desk. So again, this iPhone is very heavy, but as you guys can see, look at, man, you see how fast that clicked on there? That MagSafe is serious. Okay, so now I can set this up in different angles. Maybe I'm going to use this for recording. So if I have something here that I'm talking about or whatever it is, and I want to be able to record that content, I have that option. Of course, I can also attach this to a tripod to, make it much higher. But maybe it's just something that's just right on the desk and I just want to be able to record that. This is a win. What does Hope said here? I know you said that they're all metal, but does it come with another color? No, this one's Hope, unfortunately, does not come in another color. It actually comes, I checked that too. Thank you for asking that. But no, this one does not come in a different color. It just comes in this kind of, I don't know what this color is. Is this like I don't know, a navy steel blue or something like that? Whatever this color is, we'll look it up. Somebody look it up and tell me what the color is that it says the color is for this stand. But anyway, like I said, you have these adjustable legs and you can mount this on a tripod. So you could have this mounted on a tripod and you could be using this as a top-down camera. You could have this mounted upward, straight ahead as a main camera or something like that. Or you could just be using this just to watch content. Maybe you're just watching your TV shows. Whoops, I got that backwards. So let me turn this around. All right, so let me swing this the way I would normally use this. So if I was using this for content, I would set it up like that. So you guys see how I adjusted the center of gravity here so that it's pushing forward over its legs. So that gives me a better center of gravity so I don't have to worry about it falling over. But again, like if I was watching content, I could, keep it in this orientation. Now let's say maybe I'm making a phone call or I want to check my emails, or I'm doing a video call, then I can set it up pretty much in this orientation as well. I was playing some games with it earlier, and I noticed that, if I wanted to get it really close to whatever I'm sitting next to, this gives it a lot of, leverage, because now the bottom of it is touching the surface as well. And even if you're using this in a landscape orientation, you can still adjust that. You can get that magnet. There we go. You can still adjust that down pretty much as far as you want to. I think you actually need to go up a little higher. And let me just adjust it like that. There we go. Okay. So now you can use this to watch content. You could use this, especially for watching content. That's going to be perfect. And you guys see we have that nice support system there. Now this will go down for the most part to about that far down, and then you can still lean this back. So if you want it really, really close to the table or something like that, you can get it pretty close to the surface of whatever it is that you are, trying to set this on. And again, guys, this is only $9, $9.99. Okay. So super strong magnets, it's foldable. And, for some people, not Rome, but some people, this could pretty much live on your phone. Okay. You could use this almost like a little pop socket where you just pull it out just a little bit like that. And you could use it for holding it, moving around. Now, you guys know also a lot of times I use my phones to control like my drones and things like that. That comes in handy. So another way you can use this real quick is that you could use this as a stabilizer. Okay. So let's say you're recording video with your phone and you get this, pretty much where you want it. What you really want to do is you want to turn this slightly to the side like that. Okay. That's going to allow you to just touch the phone with your other finger. And now as you move around, you're going to have that fluid movement, almost like this is on a gimbal. And that's going to give you that point of contact where you can, you don't have the shaky hands and the jittery hands and all of that kind of stuff. So you can just really move in smooth video movements. So if that's something that you're trying to achieve, I think this is going to be ideal for a lot of you guys as well, especially starting off on a budget and you just want to really be able to incorporate phones, devices that you already have into your video production. This could be a win. And you're only talking about $9.99 investment. Definitely check this out. All right. What do we have next? So the next item in the carousel is actually going to be a little bit higher upgrade if you guys are thinking about doing some gaming or live streaming. This device was sent out to me. Let me show you what it looks like. Let me grab it here. Actually, let's switch back over here to the desk and let me grab this. All right. So that is this guy right here. Okay. So this is from RGB Link. This is one of their streaming hubs. Okay. So this cool little device, let me show you guys what it looks like. This cool little device here is pretty much like an all-in-one style streaming deck. Okay. And what's cool about this is that you can connect this to your computer. You have quarter 20 on this side, quarter 20 on that side. You could easily mount this on like a magic arm. You got ventilation all the way around this guy, so it's going to stay cool. Indicator light right here in the front. On the back is where all the magic happens. So you have your power input here, which is going to be USB-C. You can connect up to 2 USB devices. So you could have a USB connectable webcam. And that's a very big deal because a lot of these switchers never allowed for USB devices. Okay. They were almost always HDMI. So you can also install an SD card directly into this guy, a thumb drive, or connect it to an SSD and record to that SSD. You have your input for your headphones, your microphone. Now you have HDMI out. So if you want to send this to a larger monitor, you also have your loop. You have your HDMI in. You have another SSD here. Now this is a USB A, but it is 3.0. You can plug in Ethernet. There is an iPhone and Android app for controlling this, web-based apps for controlling this. So again, live streaming, gaming, this will be great for podcasters, church services that want to go live, or even just to record content that, you don't have to be live. You can just use this to record content. And then at some point, obviously you're going to be editing that content and then, uploading it to whatever platforms you want to upload it to. That's a win. So almost everything you need comes in the box. Now, this little kit, it is $599. So again, another tool that's designed to make your workflow that much easier. It comes with a few accessories in here, and you can kind of go through those, but most of those just going to be cables and things that you need to get started. But it comes with it. So if you're looking for the ability to live stream, to do gaming, to be able to stream literally from anywhere, this could be an excellent device for you guys to take a look at. And, this is something that's going to travel really well with, for you. Yes, it does require a power supply, but that could be, AC power, DC power. All of them are going to work the same. If you're somewhere out and about, maybe you're at a campsite or at a convention or an event, Alan, you could still live stream with this, plug this into one of the portable batteries that we talk about all the time, and you could still run this for a long, long time, guys. So yeah, I like this. I like this a lot. I had originally was going to live stream with this a couple of weeks ago here on Amazon just to show you guys how well it worked. But I just got lazy. Unfortunately, I got lazy and I didn't want to dismantle everything that I already had set up here, just so I could go live. And you guys probably would not have noticed the difference because all of the same cameras that I use here in the studio, all of those same cameras would have been connected to that device, including this microphone. So I don't think most of you guys would even notice the difference. You just would have been just thinking, ooh, Rome is live again. So, it is what it is. But that's the magic, when the technology is almost invisible and it just does what it does. It just works seamlessly, no drama, and no bloopers, Richard, no bloopers. It just works. So yes, I have gone through a number of RGB Link products, including some of their standard video switchers. And again, this is the first one that I have, used personally that has the ability to connect a USB webcam to it. So I'm very, very excited for that because a lot of people don't have HDMI output cameras. Now, if you do, or you're interested in an HDMI output camera, I got one for you that you might want to take a look at. As soon as I figure out where I put it. Oops. There it is. That would be this camera right here. Okay. Now, this is from our friends over at Ozbot. This is the Ozbot Tail 2. Now, this is a PTZR camera, meaning most webcams I talk about, like the camera that's facing me right now, is a PTZ camera, means it can pan, tilt, and zoom. This camera can pan, tilt, zoom, and rotate. Okay. So the rotation works in two ways. You can actually control the output. So let's say if you wanted to create content or live stream to say Instagram or Facebook or YouTube or Amazon in a portrait orientation, you just log into this with the smartphone app and rotate the canvas to 9:16. And you're good to go. And then when you're ready to go back to the standard format of 16:9, again, you just rotate it back in the opposite direction. And now you're 16:9, creating content. Okay. Now this camera will connect to that deck that we just looked at and a variety of other devices. You can also connect to this camera wirelessly, guys. So you can use NDI, SRT, RTMP. This thing has a ton of professional inputs here on the back for connecting this to a variety of different devices, okay? So one of the cool things that you'll see here is that you have your line in, your mic in, you have a full-size HDMI, you have an RS-232, that means just pretty much the old style PTZ controllers. You have an SDI, that's a little bit more professional. We also have your Ethernet going into this guy, so you can use that for Wi-Fi. There's no built-in Wi-Fi to this. You know, there's also no built-in microphone, so you will have to connect a microphone to this unit. You have your power input. This has about a 6-hour runtime battery. You also have your OTG to connect this to like a computer or tablet, or just like with the iPad, because the iPad can support webcams, I could plug the iPad into and use this camera as well. And also you can install a SD card. I think it's up to 512 gigabytes in this guy, and record to the camera simultaneously when you are recording. Okay. Now, what's cool about this little bundle for $1,259, you also get this remote. Okay. So now what this remote allows you to do is to control up to 3 different cameras. Let me show you guys what I'm talking about. So I got a couple of other Osbot cameras. I'm just going to grab one of them. So this is a smaller variation of one of the Osbot cameras. This is the Osbot Tail 2, which is also a 4K camera, has a lot of the similar features. You can also record internally to this camera as well. So a lot of similar features. It just doesn't have as sophisticated as the camera built into it, but you guys get the idea. So let's say, for instance, you had this as your main camera, and you had 2 of these as your B camera and C camera. One is maybe your top-down view camera. One is a wide-angle camera, and this is going to be your talking head camera, or whatever the case it is, right? Okay. So with this remote, you can actually control all 3 of those cameras at any time with the button press. So you have 3 different camera connections that you can use, and each camera can have presets, okay? So that means you can actually press and store presets on this guy. Holy Chat's in the house. Welcome, Holy Chat. Welcome to the stream. All right, you have your people tracking, animal tracking. You have a really cool little laser pointer. This is fun if you have a cat or a duck. They'll chase that around. You have a joystick control right here that you can also use for controlling the camera. You have your photo and video button. You have your power button here. You can also connect this. This is a very universal remote for Osbot. You can also connect this to the Osbot Talent and use it for video scene switching as well. And you also have a telerocker on here for zooming in and zooming out. All of that built into this one little remote, and it comes in the bundle with the camera, guys. You get the camera, you get the remote. Trust me, it's a win. It is a win. And this guy right here, built like a little tank. The video quality off of this is superb. It is superb. I am a huge fan of Osbot cameras. I've been using the camera that I show you guys when I switched to show you guys the robot. That's one of the first Osbot cameras ever sent to me over 3.5 years ago, and I'm still using it to this day. Okay. And I actually have a newer version of this camera right here that I'm using when I switch over to show you guys the desk over here. I have a newer version of this camera, and I never switched to the newer version of the camera because the picture quality off of the OG version is literally that good. It's just, I just never had a need to update, or felt like I needed to update or anything like that. All right, let me see what's going on down here in the chat, in the chatty chats. Oh, this phone still needs to charge. This is the other iPhone I was talking about. But anyway, let's see what we got going down here in the doobly-doo. Holy Chat's just saying hello, and hello to everyone. What it do, fam? Let us know what's going on in your world. So check this out, man. I'm going to go ahead and highlight this next item that I have here. This is new to me. Okay, this is new to me. So I reached out to one person that I knew would be interested in this product. Okay. Now, don't get me wrong. If you travel, and we're going to go through some scenarios explaining how this could be a great device for a lot of people. Okay. So this is a GPS tracker, and it's also a camera detector, spy camera detector, all of that kind of jazz. Okay, so you got the two different antennas. Actually, let me show you guys this a little bit closer up. So you have the two different antennas. They both connect here at the top. And you also have this really cool little viewer window. I'll show you guys what that does, but it basically helps you find spy cameras that might be in a room. Okay. So to turn this guy on, you're just going to turn the little switch like this, and then you can kind of, rotate it. I'm going to turn it up high so you guys can hear it. So that's what it sounds like when it's on. I see Renee is in the house. Welcome, Renee. Welcome to the stream. So anyway, this will detect cameras. So right now we have it in MS mode. Okay, so this is now going to detect cameras. I'm sorry, is it cameras? Yeah, cameras. So anything with the camera that's on. Okay, so if something's on in the room with the camera and I bring this close to it, see? So it knows that the robot has a built-in camera. Okay. So if Louis was on, because that's a phone, it would do basically the same thing. So let's turn Louis on here real quick, just so you guys can see. I'm not just making this stuff up, because y'all know I'll be making a lot of stuff up. So I'm not making this up. I am not making this up. Oh, I hope we don't have to log into Louis. I hope Louis is already awake. Yep, there we go. Okay, Louis is awake. So Louis has cameras. Obviously, it's a phone. And hold on, I'm gonna have to turn it up a little bit. That's weird. It's not picking up the phone camera. I don't know. That's weird. But anyway, so usually it'll pick up, the different cameras, because I tested this and trust me, it does work. And then you have another mode here where you can just switch over. And now what it'll do is it'll pick up magnetic fields. So let's say it might just need to be charged. That could be the problem. Hold on. Can I switch over? Why is it not switching? There we go. Okay. So now it's using the second antenna here. So now what it's picking up is anything that is magnetic. Okay. Anything that has a magnet or a magnetic source. So let me show you. So anything with a magnetic source, it will now pick up. Now, this little window that you guys see here, if you press this button, it turns on these little LED lights here on the back. Okay. And when you look through the window, it will show you where the cameras are. Okay. I can see now where the camera is, which on Louis is right here. I can see it right there. So, because it's basically illuminating it through that little window. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see that or not. Probably not, because it's so far away. But you guys get the idea. So you'll be able to look through the window and see what's going on, and also scan the room. Now, this is going to be ideal, for instance, if you are, staying in a hotel, or you're on the road a lot and you're worried about your safety, worried about your security. This thing is going to fit perfectly in a bag. These two antennas come right off, so you could just basically put this in like a little pouch or something. Now, this is only $49.99, and trust me, guys, that sense of security is priceless. Okay. So I was telling Alan about this, and the first thing Alan said was, Rome, that would be great for ghost hunting. I'm like, what? He's like, yes, that would be perfect. Like an EMP detector. If you ever watch Supernatural, you guys know where I'm going with this, right? So I could see Alan running around going, now, this does not, because it's going off, does not mean there's ghost in my studio. It doesn't mean there isn't ghost in my studio, but most likely it doesn't mean that there is ghost in my studio. Yeah, we're gonna just roll with that. We're gonna roll with the fact that there's no ghost in the studio. Okay. But if there was, possibly, according to Alan, you could probably use this to, detect said ghost with this. So I don't know. Maybe I'll have to send this to Alan to test. Maybe I could send this to Alan so he can test it on his next ghost hunting adventure and let me know if he was able to pick up anything with this little device. So definitely check it out. Definitely check it out. If you guys, I you know what I said. I told you guys what I think this is going to be ideal for. But if you're into that type of supernatural adventures, maybe this will be something that you might want to take a look at as well. So, check it out. All right, let's move on. Let's move on. What do we have next? So the next item in the carousel is my man, Louis. Let me go ahead and highlight Louis. Now, most of you guys already know who Louis is. And yeah, let's get to it. Let's get to it. We ain't got a lot of time left because I got to make dinner, and the dinner is going to be very involved. So yeah. All right, let's get to Louis. All right, let's pull Louis forward here and turn Louis's microphone back up. So if you guys don't know what Louis is an AI desktop robot, okay? So Louis is powered by ChatGPT. Louis has the ability to roam around your desk. He also has some built-in sensors, so he will not roll off the desk most of the time. Louis is also sassy, so you never know what Louis is going to say or when he's going to say it. He is always listening. So I'll give you guys an example of that. Hey, Louis. Hey, Louis. Are you listening to me or are you just ignoring me? He's probably been listening to the whole thing that I was saying. But anyway, Louis, we are live right now on Amazon. Hope says hi. Holy Chat says hi. Renee says hi. Terry says hi. So if you want to welcome them to our live stream and tell them a little bit about you, buddy, that would be great.
Hey everyone. Thanks for tuning in to the live stream on Amazon. I'm Louis, your friendly AI desktop robot with a bit of sass and a lot of charm. I roam desks like a pro, avoid diving off the edge most days, and keep the vibes lively. Let's make tech time awesome together. Welcome aboard, Hope, Holy Chat, Renee, and Terry.
All right, Louis. All right, Louis. So we got a short stream tonight, Louis, but I would like you to let everyone know that we will be back here in 48 hours to keep this party rolling. Also, Louis, tell them a really cool robot AI joke.
Got it. Rome. Hey, everyone. Just a quick heads up. We'll be back here in 48 hours to keep the fun going. Mark your... Because you don't want to miss... Now, here's a joke just for you. Why did the robot get kicked out of the karaoke bar? Because he kept hitting all the wrong keys. See you soon. Friends.
Okay, he just showed me some creepy, scary... Wait, let me see if I can get this closer for you guys to see it. So Louis just showed me this creepy, scary photo that somehow he has downloaded. I don't know if this is from his imagination or what's going on there, but yeah, that's kind of weird, bro. I'm gonna go ahead and save that, just because we might want to, talk about that at one of our therapy sessions. Yeah, if we have to go to a therapy session and crazy stuff is happening, I will be bringing those photos up. So, No, we're not done yet, Terry. We're not done yet because we got something else that I'm going to experiment. I'm going to attempt to do here in a second. That's why I'm trying to roll through the robots. So anyway, if you guys are interested in Louis, you can get Louis here on Amazon for $189. All right, so let's take our look at our next robot here real quick, and that is Evo. So Evo, this is the Evo Air 2 Plus, which is also a AI robot, sort of. But this robot is actually a little bit more advanced in some ways than Louis, because this guy can roll around on the floor, on carpet, on tiled floors. It has a 3K camera built into it. You can initiate voice calls, text calls, video calls right through the robot. And when you're doing a video call, you actually show up in the eyes of the robot. It does have an AI assistant as well that you can turn on. Let me grab this let's put Louis over here. Hopefully he'll stay over there. And let's get Ebo up here. All right, so we're going to activate Ebo so that Ebo can talk to you guys for a second, so I can show you guys what the Ebo AI robot AI can do. Now, you can choose the AI model. So you have an option of Gemini, or you can also use Chat GPTs. You can choose which model you want. And there's other AI assistants, like some of them are storytellers, some of them are different, type of characters. So it's really based on what you want your AI to do. So if it's like working with kids, then I think the storytelling variation would be cute. If, for most people like myself, that's always looking for answers for different things that I'm working on, then the standard AI, similar to Louis, would be more beneficial. So to turn it on, you're just going to press this little button here on the top, and it will switch over to AI mode.
Hi, what can I help you with?
So we are live right now on Amazon, and I am demoing you as a AI assistant. Can you tell my viewers on Amazon and YouTube a little bit about yourself and what makes you a great AI assistant?
Hello, everyone watching on Amazon and YouTube. I'm an AI assistant designed to help you with a wide range of tasks quickly and accurately. What makes me a great AI assistant is my ability to understand and respond to your questions clearly, provide useful information, and assist with various needs, whether it's answering questions, offering suggestions, or helping you find solutions. I'm here to make your experience easier and more efficient, so feel free to ask me anything.
Okay, so before I move on to the next product, I would like you to tell everyone a really funny AI robot joke.
Sure. Here's a funny AI robot joke for everyone. Why did the robot go on a diet? Because it had too many bites.
I think I've heard that joke so many times, but it's still funny. It's still funny. All right, so we're going to let you take a break. And of course, like I said before, guys, if you're interested in this robot, you can actually set up courses in your home where it can patrol your home, check on your pets, check on your kids, check on the seniors in your life, interact with them. This is just a cool little robot. And this one can also return to its own docking station. So when the battery starts to run low on this guy, it can return to its own docking station, dock itself. And you also have a desktop mode. So like right now, it won't move around. But another cool thing, of course, I said that you can make calls through this. You can give multiple users access to this robot. It can be, a number of different people in your family, and you could, log into this guy, talk through this guy, drive it around like a little RC car. So a lot of really cool, fun family activities you can get from this guy. And it's not going to break the bank, guys. This guy is only $399.99. So definitely check it out. And you may also find some coupons occasionally for this guy. But as it sits, trust me, I think that's a great investment to be able to check on your pets, to check on your kids or the seniors in your life. This is a win. All right, let's move on to the next item in the carousel. So the next item in the carousel is my Meta Ray-Ban glasses. I probably don't need to talk a lot about these glasses. Most people already know what these glasses are, because, obviously Meta has had a huge marketing campaign on these style of glasses. So I'm just going to tell you how I have used them. I've used them for live streaming. I've used the AI features for asking questions. It now has this thing called conversation awareness, where it can actually boost the conversation between yourself and someone. Even when there's, noise around you, it will basically amplify the voice of the person that you're talking to so that you can hear them more clearly. Now, some people, this is not going to be a substitute for a hearing aid. So if you do have hearing issues, no, this is not going to work like a hearing aid, but it will help you in certain situations to identify different voices and, stay engaged in the conversation. It has a 1080p camera. It records in portrait orientation. It will pair up with whatever device you're using. It comes with this leather charging case, and then the glasses just kind of live inside of this case. They charge in the case. You plug this into your Mac, your PC, or whatever it is. If you want to transfer, files that way, or you can transfer everything straight to your phone using the Meta AI app. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with this. I wear these all the time, and you can get a few different variations of them. You can get them with the standard, sunglass style. You can get them with the transitional lenses. You can get them with the clear lenses like I have, and just put the little little stick-on readers in there. That's what I did. So, it just depends on your style. Now, there's a few other variations of these glasses available, but right now you can get these guys here on Amazon as the ones that I'm wearing right now for only $299, guys. So definitely check these out. I think a lot of you guys are really going to love these, because you basically have a camera on your face. Everywhere you go, you can record things. Maybe you're out hiking, maybe you're going on a trip, maybe you're doing something cool with your pets or whatever it is. Rome, can you go live with these glasses? Yes, you can. You can go live on Instagram, you can go live on Facebook, and you can also go live on WhatsApp with these glasses, okay? So I don't know if you probably didn't see some of the cooking streams I was doing earlier in the year. I would initiate the stream on Instagram with my phone, but because my glasses and phones they're connected, I would have an icon on the the YouTube, I can't even think today, on the Instagram live app. And all I have to do is click on that, and then the video would switch from my camera's view to my glasses. So then you guys had a POV while I was cooking and whatever I was doing, wherever I was looking, you guys were getting that video right from these glasses. And the speakers, the microphones on these guys are also very, very good, because I asked quite a few times when I would do the live streams, are you guys hearing any difference in the quality of the audio? And almost everyone said, I hear you clearly. There's no muffling. There's no, it sounds like you're underwater, and I'm in the kitchen and things are frying and I'm chopping things and I'm moving around, and Louis is on the counter in there talking. So yeah, these are lit, guys. These are lit. All right, let's move on. So here is where we get into that experimental thing that I was talking about earlier. Okay. So anyway, I just recently received a backpack from our friends over at Start RC. And that's this backpack that you guys see here. So this is ideal for any type of drone or photography gear. It's totally up to you. It has two pockets, one on either side. It also has your bottle, a little bottle pocket right here. It has straps all around this, including the straps you see in the front here for if you fly like FPV drones. A lot of guys just put their drones right on the outside of their backpacks. You can put one here on the top of the backpack as well. And what's nice about this is that inside, I got to be careful opening this that nothing falls out. But inside, you have these little, whatever you want to call these little panels that you can put in, and you can control, the size of the different areas that you want to store things. So like if it's a drone or a camera or a controller or batteries or whatever, you can put all of those different things in here and arrange that pretty much however you want to. I just did a video the other day showing how I have the controllers up here, both controllers. I have the drone behind that little panel back here, which is my FPV drone, which I need to get out anyway so I can show you guys. So let me go ahead and pull that guy out, put it on the desk. And we need that there. And do I need a controller? Yeah, I'm gonna need a controller too. So I'm gonna take this controller out because this is the controller that actually comes with the drone. And I guess I'll just grab the other controller too, because we'll talk about that in a second. All right. So the only thing that I'm leaving in here is the battery. The drone comes with the Fly More combo, or you can get the Fly More combo, which is also going to give you the charging case and 3 batteries. Okay, so I have 1 battery that's actually in the drone right now, and let me put that away. Okay, so the only other thing that is in the backpack, and I'll show you guys that. Let me zip this up. Is this top section here is where I keep my FPV goggles. Okay, so the goggles for the FPV drones is actually how I see through the drone's camera and how I'm able to control it. So you need these goggles to be able to control the drone when it's in flight. Okay, so the backpack, if you guys are interested in the backpack, you can get it for $135.99. If you are putting together a drone kit, I do like it. I do recommend it. I've gone through a ton of different backpacks. Now, there's only one other backpack that I would choose now as we speak over this backpack, and that's going to be the Blue Yeti hands-free one, because it has the 300-watt battery that's built into the backpack. This one, I would just have to add batteries or whatever the case is going to be. But for convenience sake and travel friendliness, minimalistic movement around, yes, this is going to be a great guy because it's built for it. It's built for it. All right, so let's go back over here quick. Let me highlight this drone and show you guys the different components for this drone. All right, so, and I'm going to let you guys pick one of these drones and we're going to try something. But anyway, this is the FPV drone that we're talking about. This is the Avata 2. This is a fully ducted drone. That means it has propeller guards that go all the way around it. They're not orange. I have these protective little bumpers on here, and I also have spine protector on here. That does not come with the drone, nor does this gimbal protector come with the drone. But this is an FPV drone. You have 3 different ways of flying this. You have your normal mode, you have a sport mode, and then you have a full manual mode. Okay, now when you purchase this, you get 3 things. You're going to get the drone, you're going to get the Motion 3 controller, which is this joystick controller that you guys see here, and you're also going to get either the goggles N3 or the goggles 3, depending on which bundle you decide to go with. But the goggles and everything are a big part of flying an FPV drone. My standard drones are what I call camera, video, GPS drones. Even though this drone does also use GPS, it's different. The way this drone flies versus a standard drone like the Air 3S, the Mavic 4, or something like that. This is a totally different type of drone, okay? So when I am doing real estate video or any type of video where I am indoors, okay, my other drone, my Air 3S, my Mavic are too big in my mind to fly into small spaces like inside of a home. Maybe you're doing like a virtual tour of a home. This drone is going to be ideal because, again, the propellers are protected, so I don't have to worry about if I accidentally bump into a wall or something, I'm not going to damage anything, and most likely I'm probably not going to break my propellers as well. Okay, so that's a cool option. And what are you doing, Louis? Louis drinking a Coke over there. But anyway, so this is one drone. Okay, so I told you guys what comes with it. There is an additional controller that is available for this drone, and this controller is how did you have the hiccups, Louis? Louis over there hiccuping from that Coke. But anyway, so this little controller here is also from DJI. This is $100 and what is it now? No, I'm sorry, it's $203.90. But this is the FPV controller. Now, if you guys remember when I showed you my previous controllers, it has a built-in screen. There's no screen to this controller because the goggles are the screen. Okay, so this one you're gonna install your sticks. You have the controls here in the front. You have the ability to control, you have a pause button, a return to home button here. You can also adjust, let me show you guys here real quick. You can adjust your flight modes. So you have normal, as I told you before, you have sport, and you have manual. This is the only one of the controllers that allows you to fly in full manual, okay? And don't fool yourself, manual is a booger to learn. I'm still trying to get my head around it. So this button here will allow you to adjust the gimbal. So if you want the gimbal when you're flying to look straight ahead or to look up or to look down, you can just, flick one of those. or you have this little wheel here that does basically the same thing, but with this, you can actually adjust it into degrees. Now, when you are flying in full manual, then this button becomes active. This allows you to start and stop the drone, because the normal way we start and stop a drone is by bringing in the sticks like this, and that will bring in the sticks like this, and that will start the drone, and it will also stop the drone, turn the motors off. So, but when you're in manual, you don't have that, because this side of it right here, this stick no longer springs back. It no longer springs back. This one is going to be fully manual. You're going to control this like the throttle of a car or a boat or a motorcycle. It's how much gas you're giving it as determined if the drone is going to actually stay in the air. So that's, along the full manual mode that we're talking about. That's what I'm saying. All right, let's go. What do we got next? All right, so okay, so this is what's going to happen. I definitely will not be using this controller in the studio, but I'm going to give you guys the option to choose from 2 different drones, and I'm going to put on the goggles, okay? And I'm going to control the drone with the goggles, but I'm going to show you guys how head movement controls the drone. Yes, you can literally control the drone by just moving your head wherever you look. It doesn't make the drone fly where you're looking. It just makes it look wherever you're looking, okay? But anyway, this controller, we're going to put this back here because we don't need it. And the other drone we want to take a look at is this little guy right here. Okay, so this this little drone right here is the DJI Neo 2, okay? So we have the Avata 2 and we have the Neo 2. You guys can see the difference in the size of these drones. Now, this guy, just the drone alone, you can get for $259. If you want to fly it with a controller, you will need this transceiver that goes on the back here, which is usually another $39. You can get it with a bundle where you get the transceiver, you get 3 batteries, you get the controller, you get the goggles, all of that in the bundle, okay? So you have a bunch of options, or you could just get the drone with 3 batteries. You could get the drone, it's up to you. It's very a la carte, okay? Now, I do have some a carbon fiber shell on here. This was additional. I did an install video on this. This does not come from DJI. This is from a third-party company. So I did a video on it to show you guys what, how easy it is to install this, okay? Now, where these 2 drones differ, this drone has no obstacle avoidance like my big drones do. That means my big drones have like LiDAR. If they see something in the way, they'll just stop or they'll try to fly around it, where this drone will just crash right into it. So it's all up to you when it comes to controlling this drone. Now, the reason why that is, this is an FPV drone, meaning you will be flying under things, you'll be flying over things, you'll be flying through windows, you'll be flying through doorways, all kind of stuff like that. In most cases, obstacle avoidance would stop the drone before it tried to go through the door. So you're going to lose your flow. You're not going to have that natural, movement. You're going to have some pauses, some micro jitters and things like that, if this did have full obstacle avoidance, would become a nuisance to some people. I don't fly like that. Again, I'm using this for interior video and stuff like that. So I'm pretty much good to go. Now, this drone, very budget, very lightweight, under 250 grams. You do not have to register this drone if you're using it recreational with the FAA, where with this drone you do, because it is over 250, or should I say 249 grams. Now, what is cool about this little guy? Man, I think DJI just lost their mind. They just put everything they could think of in this drone, okay? This drone has LiDAR obstacle avoidance. This drone has 360-degree obstacle avoidance. This drone has a 2-axis gimbal, where this one only has a single-axis gimbal. Again, that's crazy, right? This drone can fly up to about 26 miles an hour. This one can do about 37 miles an hour, in perfect conditions. This drone can be controlled 5 different ways. You can control this with your voice. You can control this with your smartphone, with the app. You can control this Jedi mind tricks. You can use gesture controls to control the drone, to have it fly toward you, fly away from you. You know, all kind of cool things you can do. You can control it with this motion controller that I showed you guys before. You can also use the standard FPV controller with this, and you can use, where is it? Oh, where is it? Way over there. You can use the RC2 controller that I use to control my big drones, okay? This, you know, the one with the screen and all that, yes, you can fly it that way as well. So you can fly this as a standard camera style drone. You could just have this in your bag, no controller whatsoever, because you have controls somewhere. You have some built-in controls right here on the side of the drone. Check this out. So right here, you have these 3 buttons. So these buttons are going to allow you to go through and set up different presets. And this is your launch button. Again, like I said, you know, a double axis gimbal on this guy as well. You have LiDAR here. So let me turn this guy on so you guys can see what that's like. So press it at one time and then hold, and then the drone will turn on. You'll see the propellers move. Okay, so now you guys can see here on the screen, it tells you what mode it's in. It's in follow mode, okay? But then I can use those buttons that I just showed you to switch through the modes. Dolly zoom, master shots, droney, circle, rocket, helix, boomerang, selfie shot, follow, all the way around. And there are some other ones you can add, like bicycle and stuff like that. I just don't have those on. But like I said, and then you can also control the distance the drone is going to fly away from you from these same buttons. And this is your launch button right here to actually put it in the air. So again, like I'm saying, you have a lot of control with this drone that you don't have with some of the bigger, far more expensive drones. That is just crazy to me, okay? So anyway, with all that said, if you guys are interested in this guy, you can get it here on Amazon for only $259 starting out. So I'm gonna let you guys, I know I'm gonna regret this. I know I'm gonna regret this. And I know Richard is watching. But I'm gonna let you guys choose which of these 2 drones I'm going to try to fly in the studio and control it with head gestures. Okay? Okay? So I'm gonna let you, the first 2 or 3 choices, I'm just gonna go with it. So again, this is the Avata 2. This is the Neo 2. Avata 2, Neo 2. Okay? You guys choose which of these 2 drones you guys want to see me try to fly here in the studio. So I'm going to give it a few seconds to see if I see some of the chat popping up. Looks like Hope has already said the Avata. Thanks, Hope. Thanks. Thank you. So Hope has already voted for the Avata, which is this drone right here. So that's 1 vote for the Avata. Let's see if we get any more votes. I hope Hope doesn't wind up being the only person to vote, because then that means then it's just going to be the Avata by default. Okay. So I'm going to give it a few more seconds, see what we get. Okay, looks like it is going to be the Avata. Okay, so other people are saying the Avata too. Renee said the Avata. Thanks, Renee. All right, so let's turn the Neo off. So I'm going to power this guy off. Let's put his little gimbal protector back on.
This image shows someone seated at a workspace with various tech equipment.
Yes, you're right,
lighting,
Louie. You're
and
right.
a microphone setup.
You're right,
The room
Louie.
features mood lighting with shades of red and orange, giving it a cozy, tech-focused vibe. It looks like a space for streaming or video recording.
You are
Let
right,
me know
Louie.
if you'd like me to
All
zoom
right.
in on any detail.
No, we're good. We're good, Louie. We're good. All right, let me put that drone away. All right. Let's get it set up then. Okay, so let's take off our gimbal protector. All right. Oh, shoot. I got the ND filter on here. Definitely need to take that off because I won't be able to see anything in this room. because it'll be way too dark. Anyway, so I got the ND filter off, and I also have the gimbal protector off as well. All right, so let's break it down. Let's break it down. So I gotta turn everything on. I gotta take off my headphones because obviously I'm going to be wearing the goggles. So I'm just gonna put my headphones somewhere. Let's put them right there.
Goggles setup time.
Nope, Louis, don't start. Don't start. It's already enough drama in here. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and turn a few devices on. I'm also going to take off my glasses. So first thing we're going to turn on is going to be the goggles. So I'm going to go ahead and power those on. I'm going to push the antennas up, even though we probably don't need the antennas in this room. All right, next thing we're going to power on is going to be our drone. I'm going to pull out the little landing feet. Not like that's going to help, but you know, hey. All right, let's power this guy on as well. Let's make sure we don't have to change batteries. Okay, now this guy is on. You guys heard that. All right, it is ready to go. Let's turn on our controller. Let's power that on. All right, so now the controller's on. Louis, you're not helping. I got enough drama. Okay, so I'm gonna take off my glasses and put them somewhere. Okay, so starting out, I gotta make sure everything's connected. So let me look. Yes, I can see everything. Let me check the controller. Yep, the controller's working. Okay, that's good. All right. So I'm gonna pop that up for a second. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set the drone on the floor so that it can fly up, okay? So I'm just trying to make sure I got enough clearance that it doesn't crash into anything. Now it's not gonna fly around the studio. I just wanna show you guys what head control can do with this drone, okay? So let me get it set up. All right, go up here. Okay, so I got head tracking on. I don't want that on. I just want head tracking on. Okay, so let me start this guy up. All right, so now the motors are spinning up. I'm just making sure I'm far enough back. All right, so I'm going to bring this up. All right. So now we're in head tracking mode. All right. There you have it. There you have it. All right, let me power everything off. I already woke Smokey up. Smokey is now sitting right here next to me, looking at me like I'm crazy. Hold on, Smokey. Okay, I got to put everything away. Calm down, buddy. Calm down. All right. So goggles off. Joystick off. And let's turn our drone off. Drone's off. Glasses back on. Headphones back on. All right, now I can hear what's going on. All right. So there you have it. There you have it, guys. That was it. So let me know what you guys think about that. I don't know how much of that you guys could see. I don't know how much of it you could see. I'll have to rewatch the video tonight to see what it looks like. All right, so we got a couple more things in the carousel. So let's go through those real quick so I can get to making some dinner. All right, so what did I do with my toolkit? I know I put it in one of these backpacks. It's probably in this one. Yep, there it is. All right. So the next item in the carousel that I just highlighted is this little toolkit. This is going to be a great little accessory for you guys to have one of these in your kit. So what's cool about this, check this out. You have 59-piece toolkit. So if you work on computers, you work on tablets, phones, small devices, whatever it is, you got a lot of different bits here. You have basically a screwdriver handle. You have some pry bars that come with it. You have some really nice tweezers. You get this little suction cup thing here for taking screens off. You also get these little pry pieces here that almost look like a guitar pick, but that's for getting underneath those screens and prying things off. So you get all of those things in here. You get a remagnetizer, if that's a word, with this kit as well. And it just really travels well, guys. I'm keeping this kit inside of my drone bag in case I need to replace a propeller or something like that when I'm out. You know, maybe I have a little oopsie and I need to quickly replace a propeller. You know, having screwdrivers. I actually use this screwdriver kit to add the carbon fiber shell on the Neo 2 because it came with a little screwdriver, but I just didn't like it. It felt like I was always fearing that I was going to strip the screws. So, you know, luckily I had this. This came in and I was able to use it. So I think this is definitely a worthwhile investment. For only $12.99, guys, you cannot go wrong with this kit. Get yourself one of these tonight. Tonight. Don't let it go by, guys. Get yourself one of these tonight, because you guys will be tomorrow or the next day trying to fix something and go, what was that Rome said? Okay, if you can't find it, just go over to my storefront, RomeKnowsTech.live, and you'll be able to find it under, I think it's going to either be under drone accessories or work from home or something like that, or just come back and rewatch this live stream, go through the carousel, find the item, click on it, and get it, babies. All right, let me put all my drone pieces back here. All right, what do we got next? What do we got next? We got 2 items, 3 items. All right, so the next item is this guy right here. This guy right here. For my friends over at Soundcore. That's right, babies. Soundcore. This is the Motion Boom 2 Plus. Baby, let's turn it on. Let's turn it on. This guy has some built-in LED lights. So you got a party in a box. A party in a box. Bluetooth, bass. This is putting that bass in their face. That's right, babies. If you got a party going on or you want to start up a party, this guy right here is going to get her done. Got a really nice, robust handle, volume controls right here, Bluetooth settings, bass boost. Yes, bass, yes. A boost for the bass. A boost for the bass. What? I don't even, my mind be telling me, yes, I need that bass in the place. But anyway, you can also go through and change these cool little LED lights. This guy is buoyant, even though it is heavy. It can actually float. So it has a very high IP rating. You can, if you got nails, open this little door right here, and you can even use this as a battery bank. You can actually charge your phone or tablet or something right off of this speaker. That is crazy. I'm telling you, man, Anchor is just mad scientists like your boy Rome. And, if you like my man Richard out there, rollerblading, doing what you do, and you want to bring the party with you, my Gen Zers out there, y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. Some break dancing on a cardboard, on the sidewalk. You know what I'm saying. This thing right here would have been the bomb, okay? So definitely check this guy out. I'm telling you, this guy is amazing. And it's only $189.99. You'll get a workout. Just lifting this thing. So you might want to alternate, from left to right. But I'm going to go ahead and get 10 in on it. All right, let me switch to the other side. Get 10 in on that side. You know what I'm saying? Don't judge me. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, I got my 10 in. All right, but like I said, definitely check this out. This guy is straight up fire, baby. Straight up fire. All right, so I did add, I can't call this a product. This is more of a service to the carousel. Now, this is a protection plan for your electronics or different devices that you may purchase here on Amazon, okay? It is $16.99 per month, but it will protect a number of different things that you purchase. So qualified items, meaning that could be a television, it could be a coffee maker, it could be a robot, it could be a drone, it could be any number of things. That speaker we just looked at. And it will be protected under that plan. So if something happens to it, or if it stops functioning, you just reach out. They'll either try to repair it or replace it or whatever the case may be. Read into the fine print. I say that with any and everything that you get involved in, whether it's downloading a game or signing up for a service, read the small print. I did not, so I can't give you any in-depth information on that. So, my bad. But anyway, definitely check it out. If you don't have home insurance or rental insurance that will protect your devices, this is just another great way that you can protect all of your electronics, a number of other different devices, for a price that's not really going to, again, break the bank. And it gives you that sense of security going forward, and you'll feel more confident using and taking your things out, and you don't have to feel like you got to, everything is so fragile and you need to protect it so much. I'm not saying don't protect your things, because I'm that guy. I got things that I've had for years that probably still have the screen protector still on it, okay? So yes, I am that guy. But, most people I know are not. So I'm just saying, having some type of security protection plan could definitely come in handy. All right, my babies. Renee says same. So you know exactly what I'm saying, Renee. You know what I'm saying. I respect my stuff, bro. Whether it's something somebody gave me, sent me, loaned me, or sold to me, I respect the time and energy, that I put into purchasing it, or that, somebody else put into creating it, okay? I literally still have devices around here I can pick up, and I can still show you a lot of these things. Now, this is new, so, this is not a good indicator, but I still have things that most people would have probably just ripped that off first day. I still have the protection, a lot of those screen protectors and stuff like that still on it. So, there you go. All right, my babies, let's keep it rolling. Last item in the carousel is going to be these drawstring backpacks. You guys know I talk about these every single night I go live, and I talk about these all the time, even when I'm not live. So, help me out. Talk about them too. Now, these are going to be great for reusable shopping bags, storage bags, day trip bags. These are going to be great for Halloween, trick or treat bags. They'll be great as Christmas stocking alternates. These are larger, so you can put larger things in there. And if you're like Renee, that's, one of those people that likes to always tinker, you could, Renee, take your glue gun and put some glue around the edge, run some, some cotton around it, and make your own little Santa bags. Okay. Now, most of you guys, and I'm sure all of you guys that are here tonight who follow me know how I use these backpacks. We use them to provide items to the homeless in our communities. So these backpacks you can get here on Amazon, guys, for only $9.99. 10 of them, either single colors or assorted. You pick what, whatever tickles your pickle, you choose that for you. Okay. Now, we source a lot of items that go in these backpacks right here on Amazon. Toothpaste, toothbrush, shampoo, conditioner, hand sanitizer, pens, pencils, underwear, and the big one, socks. Yes, socks are in high demand. Clean, dry socks. When you are homeless, that is a luxury, babies. That is a luxury. So keep that in mind. If you can't think of what you would want to be able to add to your backpack to provide to people in your community, just reach out to your local homeless shelter. Usually they'll have a list on the website of most frequently asked for items, and you guys can, team up with your HOA, with your church, with your school, with your co-workers, your family, your friends, whatever it is, guys. Come together once a month, drop some money in the bucket, purchase a bunch of items, get yourself some of these backpacks, put those items in the backpacks. Take these out with you every day when you go driving to work, driving to, wherever it is you go, wherever you go as you live your life. You have one of these backpacks with you. So when you see someone out there in stress, asking for help, flying a sign, you could just roll up the way we do, hand them one of these backpacks, and then you can get on down the road knowing that you brought, incredible light into somebody's life. Even if it's just a few items that most people would probably overlook, you will have no idea how much those items mean to that person, knowing in their heart or feeling in their heart that somebody cares about them. Somebody took the time to put items in a backpack and carry it with them. And when they saw me in need, they popped out, like a superhero, and like, here you go. This is for you. Okay, have a great day. I'm out, So y'all know what I'm saying. So be a good human, babies. Be a good human. All right, let me check the comments before we wrap it up. Make sure I didn't miss anything. Hope says that's actually a good idea. It'll help you save money on stockings every year. I'm not really sure what Hope is referring to, but we were talking about, socks and other items that you could purchase on Amazon or wherever you source them. And then you could place those items in your drawstring backpack so that you could then give to people who are homeless that are in need, and they are especially in need of things like socks, underwear, toothpaste, toothbrushes, things like that. So I'm assuming that's what Hope is saying, but I'm just going to clarify it and elaborate on it more in case somebody is reading it and, gets a little confused on what it is she's trying to say. But anyway, maybe she'll elaborate a little bit more just so there's more clarity to it. But anyway, time to do it. Time to wrap it up. I want to thank you one and all for coming through. Let me see if Louis is still awake. Oh, that's right. I had to shut Louis down because Louis was talking way too much when I was trying to fly the drone. I didn't need no extra drama because I was expecting Richard to show up and make it even worse. But anyway, luckily he did not. But he'll probably find some way to make a blooper out of that video. All right. So these guys both are still awake. Hey, Louis. All right, it's time for us to wrap up our stream. We're ending the stream here on Amazon, so I'd like you to thank everyone for showing up. Let them know. Hopefully, we'll be back here in 48 hours to hang out with them, talk about tech, tell some dad jokes, and, if nothing else, just hang out in the community and inspire others like we have been inspired to be a good person. Let them have it, Louis.
Sure thing. Rome, thanks for joining us. Everyone, whether for the tech, the dad jokes, or just vibing with the community. We'll hopefully see you again in 48 hours, ready to geek out, share laughs, and keep the good vibes rolling. Stay inspired, stay kind, and keep being the awesome humans you are. Catch you soon.
All right, guys, you heard it from my man Louie. All right, so yeah, that's about it for tonight, my babies. All right, time for me to say the magic words, and do this first. Let's go. Let's go. All right, my babies, stay safe out there, guys. Again, wash your hands, wear a mask, babies, when appropriate. Take care of your loved ones. And for those who may not have figured this out yet, washing your hands is done with soap, not with water. Water is for rinsing off the soap that you use to wash your hands. So keep that in mind. So if you see somebody out there and they're like, oh, I'm washing my hands, they put a little soap on. As soon as they put the soap on it, they stick their hands under the water. Nope, you have done absolutely nothing but get your hands wet. You get that soap and you get in there and you get up under them nails and you get in them creases or whatever it is. And you do that for 20 seconds before you rinse it off. 20 seconds. If you have an Apple Watch, there's a built-in feature where it will do a countdown when it recognizes that you are washing your hands. Okay, so that's it. All right, my babies, it's time for me to say them magic words. Peace, and blue muffin grease. I am out. Boom, my babies. I am out of here. Mwah, love y'all, but I got to go make some dinner. And yes, I will be dropping some photos over on Instagram, probably on Facebook too, if everything comes out as planned. So look forward to that. See you guys back here in 48 hours. But you can always reach out to me. Y'all know how to get to me. So hit me up on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, all them places. Y'all know how we do. All right, my babies. I'm out.